Hello, welcome to another video from 10x Investor Education. So in this video, I would like to give out updates on Ocugen March 12th, March 14th week. So what is happening? What could be the most important things that are coming up in this week? So as you can see here, with the rest of the market, Ocugen stock also went down close to $8 and it came back to $10. This is a really good sign and very high volume. As you can see here, based on option market, what is happening in Ocugen? Obviously, a lot of calls compared to puts, and the calls saying the price, most of the calls are between $10 and $20. So there is a high chance that the Ocugen might trade between $10 and $20 coming up next week for the next week call ending March 19th. Okay, so if you are coming looking at the Ocugen video first time on my channel, as you can see here, I'm not talking about basic Ocugen, it's an update. So I have close to 8 videos so far on Ocugen. If you want to know about more Ocugen, these are the first videos. You can look into why I bought Ocugen stock in the first place. So going back, so this is a recent interview just 2 days back on CNBC. I just want to play a clip shortly about what the CEO is talking about Ocugen, why US has to buy Ocugen when there are 4 vaccines ready and which are already being manufactured in millions.
You are focused on the U.S. and getting distribution here. I guess I'm wondering why the U.S. government would purchase your vaccine when it's already doing so from Pfizer, Moderna, Johnson & Johnson, and maybe soon Novavax.
Could you repeat?
Oh, Shankar, just wondering about the market for why you're focused on the U.S. and what kind of customer you think you're going to get in the U.S. when we already have been buying 3 vaccines, J&J, Moderna, Pfizer, and maybe Novavax soon.
So as you can see here, Moderna, J&J, Pfizer are approved. Novavax is very close to getting approved anytime. And if you look at here, so these 3 companies are making millions already. The question is mostly why they have to buy Ocugen stock. I mean, Ocugen Covaxin again.
A reasonable question. Again, as I mentioned before, it's a differentiated vaccine. This is based on the whole variant, right? Means it has got beyond spike. There are other antigens in there, such as nucleocapsid protein, which is critical because it's in the domain in the vaccine. So when you get vaccinated with this, you get antibody responses to multiple antigens. That's really important. I mean, you talked about variant, right? You got South African variant, Brazil variant, UK variant, and virus keeps escaping. So you are going to see these variants. And we already have generated, our partners have generated significant data showing this is very effective against UK variant. There is no reduction in the neutralizing antibodies based on the study they did, taking actually, virus from the patients who are infected and doing the tests on that, not lab engineered virus. And so once again, we believe it has potential to be very effective against South African and Brazil variants because it gave a very strong humoral response and cellular response, which is very important for long-term durability. And again, the publication just came out this week in Lancet, the phase 2 data from Biotech. It's very strong. And I think I encourage everybody to take a look at it. And because of the broad spectrum protection taking this vaccine, and it may prevent taking boosters and other vaccines in the future because how many boosters are you going to develop? So this is very important. We need to take a step back, scientifically look at it. How do we minimize viral escape? And if you take a broad-based vaccine such as this one, which worked for ages for poliovirus for kids, it's safe, number one. It uses a similar platform that uses poliovirus, and therefore it can be given to children. And we have to do some additional studies, but Bharat has already done work in their phase 2 study, which is published, 12 plus age group. Currently, the EUAs don't go below 16. That's a big plus.
So if you understand, summary is the US vaccines are approved for age above 16. Covaxin is tested age 12 and above. And Covaxin is basically same platform as polio and other vaccines that US is old platform. This is not a new mRNA platform. So basically, his marketing saying that this is much safer known platform for kids. Okay, and also there is a data already published on phase 3 results as well as um, phase result in Lancet, which shows that this is very useful for a UK variant as well as phase 3 results of 81% efficacy. So basically, he's saying this is also going to be effective in both Brazil and South African variants, and also in future variants. And how many boosters are you going to take? For example, Moderna is working on a booster, Pfizer is working on a booster for this variant. His point was Covaxin is effective in future variants, whereas for all these mRNA vaccines, you have to keep making boosters, and the boosters hopefully they'll work on future variants. So he's talking about the advantages of Covaxin versus other vaccines that already getting manufactured and sold in US. Okay, so hopefully you got the summary there. So this is another news. So Ocugen skyrocketing on March 11th. It's basically Ocugen wasn't approved, emergency approved for in US. It was only approved clinical trial mode. Okay, so which means based on how the things goes on, that's conditional approval. So India removed that clinical trial mode, and actually they gave an actual emergency approval, which means that more millions of vaccines will be made, and there's government funding, potential funding for Bharat Biotech as well. So this is really another good news for Covaxin. So the most important news I would like to talk about in this one is on March 18th at 8:30 a.m. So this is before opening the market. So we have to keep an eye on pre-market price of Ocugen. So conference call on Thursday, March 18th to discuss financial results and also provide business update. So obviously, I'm not too keen on financial results. First of all, they are trying to put in a offer saying that they want to increase the number of shares, which I declined because I don't want to see share dilution. And if you release those shares, price might fall. Okay. So again, the most important point I was talking about is business update. So since the last couple of weeks they haven't released any news, and this is the thing in the business update. I want to see what their discussions happening with FDA. Two things can happen. One thing they can say is, hey, FDA is asking us a big clinical trial in US before giving an approval. Okay. And another thing they can say, hey, if the variant is already working, the variants, if Covaxin already are working variants, they might say they want a small clinical trial in US. So I'm assuming what is the update and how close they are getting an FDA approval. So I think the stock price is going to move based on the business update they are going to give. So the most important thing is March 18th, 8:30 p.m. And with this momentum, I think on March 17th itself, I think potentially the stock might go up based on option price, how they are saying. Okay. So, and if you look at here, one more news is FDA says COVID vaccine that target new variants won't need a large clinical trial when approved. So if South Africa and Brazil variant data comes up, and if Covaxin shows, all three variants, this is effective, there is a very high chance that they might get approval immediately or with a small clinical trial. Okay, so I think based on this is a very positive news for Covaxin, and I think this probably the business update depends on some of these things. Okay, so another thing is, so AstraZeneca vaccine is getting suspended in a lot of countries. So if you look at here, main problem is blood clotting. So they have another news showing that in Ireland they suspended because of the blood clotting issues. So these kind of issues, we don't see any serious issues in Covaxin. That is really, really good news. Okay, so as you can see here, India is becoming very famous with Narendra Modi, you know, being on Toronto roads, on freeways, on digital displays, because actually, India, Modi is supplying, thousands of vaccines to Canada, because US is not supplying. US is just keeping their vaccines, whereas India is actually supplying almost 15 to 20 countries their Covaxin. This is not Covaxin, this is Covishield, but still the point is India, once, since India gave approval for Covaxin, it can supply millions of Covaxin vaccine to these countries who are in need. So I see a lot of positives this week that happened, and that kept the stock price up around $10. And I think this week is a critical week for them to know about the business update, and as well as I strongly believe this week stock price might actually stay about $10-12. So this is purely my speculation. This is purely for speculation and not an investment advice. You should talk to your financial advisor before buying any stock. I'm not your financial advisor, but based on the news, what I'm hearing in forums and other places, and business update on March 18th, on the speculation the price might go up, and based on the news on 18th, and that will show how the stock price will stay in short term. If they say FDA approval is very close and they just need few months to get FDA approval, I think that will skyrocket the stock price. If they say FDA approval, they need a huge large scale clinical trial in US, then the stock price will tank in a year. So hopefully you like this update. Please click the like button for my next Ocugen video, and hopefully see you Ocugen video next Sunday again. Thank you. Have a nice day.